experience. He's one of the entrepreneurs here at Plug and Play too. Okay. So I'll just have you brief them. Okay, perfect.
Hello everybody. I'm an entrepreneur. Probably like most of you guys. I haven't prepared anything because I think that probably what you would like to, what you appreciate the most is share with you my experiences, my pains, my sufferings about landing here into a weird country and experience the amazing ecosystem called the Silicon Valley, right? So I would like to make this like an interaction session. Yeah? I think that, yeah.
Where do you come from?
From Spain, Barcelona. Segovia, well, quite close there. Welcome. So I would like to start explaining a little bit about myself, why we decided to move, a little bit, not about the company, not at all. I'm not selling here the product today. You're lucky. And yeah, I can talk a few hours or more about my product, so it's not the case. And I will try to explain a little bit a few thoughts that after 2 years now, I realized what is the advice that if anybody asks me, I'll never get paid for that because it's worth what it costs, nothing, but take whatever you like. I've realized about several things that some of you may find interesting. Some of the tricks or advices that I may share with you guys today may not be useful, all of them. Some of them may apply, some of them may not. So let me explain a little bit. First of all, how many entrepreneurs there are in this room? Actual or potential? I don't care. Okay, so everybody, great. I'm asking this because we guys, the entrepreneurs, have a different mindset, right? So we think in a different way that rational, normal people. We tend to be, well, risk lovers, right? So first advice, coming here is, well, is a risk. You will be taking a risk. Why? Because you are leaving your family behind, you are leaving some friends behind, you are leaving your rational life out there, wherever you come from, and you will be changing your mindset even more. Let me explain. One of the things that you realize when you come here is these guys think in a different way. I don't know why. They seem nice, they say hello, good morning, and everything looks fine, but they work in a different way. I come from Spain, and trust me, we work in such a different way that I'm just learning, so I'm not an entrepreneur anymore, I'm a different thing. I thought that I was an entrepreneur. I built up 8 companies in Spain so far. I had 3 exits, so I've been successful. Well, my success means nothing, means a shit in here, nothing. Yeah, because I had 3 exits. Who cares? Nobody here in the valley. Because when you have an exit, you have to have an exit in the valley. So you have to change your mindset. Okay, US is a wall, is your new worldwide, right? So worldwide is US. We all come, yeah, absolutely. So till you don't understand that and really you make that thought really yours, you will be screwed, man. Because the wall ends on the Atlantic and starts on the Pacific, period. That's it. No kidding. So I have a company with operations in Asia. Who cares? Nobody in the valley. Because it's too far. So if you are Oracle, if you are IBM, if you are such kind of big guys, oh, it's important, right, for them. But for you, they don't care shit. They don't know anything about, they don't want to know, no, they know a lot, but they don't want to know nothing about your business outside US. So if you plan to come here, plan to change your company. First of all, your company has to be an American company, otherwise don't come. See, it's that simple. You have to siliconize your company. Yeah, yeah, that's not, it seems to be a joke, but it is not. And it's painful. Trust me, it's a joke, really painful. Why? Because it's expensive. So, Siliconize means you have to hire Americans. Simple, right? Well, it's not that simple. Hiring the right guys here in the US, it's painful. It's really complex. The standards that you have from the country you come from doesn't really fit in here. It's a different thing. You have to learn that process. They are all nice. At your eyes, they all look good. They all look American, so they all look good. They are not. No, it's exactly the same. So if you go to an interview with a candidate, right, and you start interviewing him, and you take a look at the resume, wow, they blow out your mind. You say, this is that guy, right? Not that guy, it's that guy, it's the best fit in town. Well, later on you realize that that guy is good doing interviews because they change their resume to fit your needs. The good news for them is they know your needs better than you. So you look at the resume and say, oh my God, you open up my eyes, you are the one. Well, that's not true, usually. My recommendation is never start hiring people here by your own. Ask for help, because you will get wrong. And I've been losing 1 year of my life hiring US people, wrong US people, till I realized I need help. Right? Once I did so, we start changing the way we were hiring people, the right people. Why? Because it's tricky for us to realize the real values of an employee in US, because they have a different mindset, and we have to realize that. That's a silly advice, but let me tell you something. Why do you think that I moved here I was living in, let me explain my history. I had a nice job in my own company. We had 3 exits, so plenty of money. My life was awesome in Spain. Good weather, good food. So when I came here, my first reaction, my first surprise was when I was telling, hey, I come from Barcelona. You kidding? And you moving? And they said, oh, what a nice people. They think that, well, they are trying to be nice with me, right? No, they were serious. We are crazy. Yeah, absolutely. They were serious. They said, oh, I'm willing to go to Barcelona or wherever in Europe because you live much better. And it's true. But why or Segovia, sorry.
No. That's not the point. Why is it so bad to live here?
Okay. Because it's plenty of Americans. No, they are all nice. No, don't get me wrong. They are all nice people. Too nice, actually. They're too nice. They always tell you what you want to hear. It's not a joke. That's what. It's funny because I had the same reaction. They are so nice. I love them all. The problem is you end up loving them all and then hating them all because you hired the wrong people. But why? You should ask me, well, why in hell you moved from Barcelona, from that amazing position to here? Well, first of all, because we are entrepreneurs and we love risk, right? So that's one big point. But should be something more. Well, what? Well, in my case, and probably this is something that may apply to some of you, a company should be where their customers are, where their partners, actual partners or potential partners, we don't care. But you have to be near, you have to be close to your partners. And you have to be close to your competitors. So, before you move to Silicon Valley, the East Coast, wherever, first of all, you have to say, why in hell I'm moving in? Why? If none of those 3 topics are covered, so if you are not able to answer, yes, my customers, actual or future potential customers, are in US, don't move. If your partners big partners, are not in here, don't move. And if you don't have competitors in here, guess what? If they are not here, probably because it doesn't worth it, right? So if you are, I don't know, I was going to make a joke, but no, forget it. The thing is, there's a fourth, which is probably the most enlightening thing that may disturb your mind and may change, you know, the right scale here to measure up things. Venture capitalism, right? So venture capital, it's huge here. Half of the whole venture capital spent in US happens in the Bay Area, a really tiny, teeny tiny place in the world, right? Which is huge. There's plenty of money. The problem is, how come I can get some piece of that huge amount of money? Well, that's another big surprise. When I came here, I said, oh, I have an impressive track record. 8 companies, 3 exits, 4 companies are going out there. Oh, they will beg me to let, you know, to invest in my company. They will beg. You know what? That hasn't happened. Why? Well, because I have a different mindset. Because my company is not yet siliconized at all, in all its sense, right? So it's not that easy. So you may find a few success stories out there of guys that came in, 6 months later, boom, they got invested, and boom, well, they are on the big way. For each one that you know, I can give you 100 that haven't. So how many we are here right now? 50 guys, more or less? Well, we have half opportunity to be one of those, right? So it's tough. The only thing that I can say is tough, and don't be anxious to do so. But on top of that, in order to be successful here, not only on the VC, but selling, but creating a company, a US company, my advice would be, get ready before you come here to US. Get ready means, how many of you are the CEOs or the people that is moving in? You know what I mean? So who is moving in here from outside? Okay, those that are willing to move here, be careful. Not just because the family, the friends, you have already measured up that, you know, in terms of the impact, the cost in your life. You are not ready to deal with a company that is managed from 9 hours distance. It's a little bit crazy, but this place, it's, well, in Spanish we have a sentence, this is a joke, we have a sentence which is in the ass of the wall, right? Which is so far away that it's nowhere. The Silicon Valley is in the west coast. That means from Europe is 9 hours ahead. 9 hours. This is just impossible to manage. When they go to sleep, you are just waking up. How can you get support from your colleagues that you are used to? And most important, you have important roles in your companies out there. Who do you leave in charge in your companies? That's critical. If there's no one there that can replace you, don't come, because you are killing your company. Or it will be really painful, because people is used to work in such a way, well, you deserve your salary, right? And then you disappear. Well, people still needs you. Well, let me tell you something. I wake up every day at 5 o'clock a.m. Every day. And I've been here for 2 years now. I haven't had the ability yet, maybe it's my fault, but I haven't had the ability yet to be able to manage my company from starting working at 8 o'clock. No, I have to wake up at 5, otherwise I'm screwed. Because when I need to guide something, to manage something, people is not there to be managed or guided. So we are missing the point. The company is just sailing alone with no captain in there. So if you are the CEO and you are planning to move, be careful. Get ready to have problems out there with the company that you left behind, right? So 2 problems. No, go ahead.
Why did you move here? Did you consider Chicago or New York? Or
Yeah, absolutely. There's a 5th, well, now that there's nobody recording here, there's a 5th reason here.
Still recording.
The 5th reason is because I love California. So, well, that's a 5th reason. Probably most of you have the same feeling here. So it's a nice place, nice weather, nice people, as I said. So it's really wonderful living here, right? The problem is working here, because you are not used to it. It's a different thing. You have no contacts, no networks, no nothing. That's why we are here at Plug and Play, because you need somewhere to start from, right? And Plug and Play it's a very nice place to start building up your own network of contacts. So, what kind of contacts? So, what kind of contacts is one topic, but let me finish answer your question. So, this is the 5th thing, but honestly, I came here because I had some customers here and some more expecting, because I'm in the cloud market, selling security in the cloud market, blah, blah, blah. Who is buying cloud? Only the Americans. Nobody's buying cloud in Europe. Just a tiny, proportion of customers. So why? Because my customers were here. My partners, Oracle, IBM, such guys, those are my partners right now. So I moved in here because of that, right? So, and my competitors, of course.
Is it, in your eyes, a valid argument when you say we see things moving faster in terms of customers in the US as opposed to what happens in Europe, Spain?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That would be a valid argument.
In US, well, that's one of the reasons. If you are in the software business, probably most of you are. There's somebody here that is not in the software business. Okay, forget about what I said, because I know nothing about anything but software, right? So maybe it doesn't apply to you guys. But my take here is, the reason for moving here is because this is it's like, if you are in the fashion, you have to be in Paris, right? Well, if you are in software, you have to be in California. That's one of the reasons to be here. Well, IBM is not in California, Microsoft is not in California, so it's plenty of companies, successful companies that are not based in California. But most of them, the cloud-based companies, usually most of them are here. That's the main reason to move here, right? So I was saying, what I was saying, I said, no, this is another topic. It's your fault, I can't blame you. No. What was I saying?
Why you're living here? The reason why is you love California, and then...
5 hours.
Well, that's already explained. It's really difficult. I was saying something. Oh yeah. No, I remember. What I was going to say is the networking. I said I choose Plug and Play because Plug and Play is a nice place to start creating your own network. I have a nice network right now. I'm here because I like to be here, but I don't need it. You know what I mean? I've created already my network. Plug and Play, after 2 years, is not giving more contacts than right now. But I needed 2 years being here, catching up with you guys, people like you guys that came in, people that came by to see, entrepreneurs and offer their services, so you start building up your network. Okay. Well, one nice thing about California is you can eat for free every single day from Monday to Friday attending networking events, right? Well, that's nice. If you are short in cash, that's nice. But it's nice as well because you are able to do real business value net contacts, right? So that's a good thing to do. At least the first year you have to attend as many as you can because it's real value. And you learn a lot. People is sharing. Here, one of the nicest things here in US is people love to share things. I don't know if you have realized how many times have you been asked, where are you from? Well, after 2 years, I'm still asked, right? Not only because my accent, because I look different, I wear different, etc. But even more, people is asking, Are you owning or renting a house? In Spain, that's just taboo. Ask people if they own or rent a house. But even more, I've been asked several times, and how much you make per year? It's just astonishing. What the fuck? What do you care, right? It's just, well, they are nice. They tell, they are happy to share with you. No, I'm making 250,000 bucks a year and plus bonuses. I'm not doing so. I'm stupid. So they are nice, right? They are nice because they are sharing. But one of the things that I was going to say about networking is, hey, when I said ask for advice before you hire American people, is you have to identify high level or senior people in your space, right, that really knows their craft, that really knows their space, your space actually. Offer him or her a piece of your company, stock options, anything like that. They are really open to anything like that. And ask them for advice and ask them for their own network of trusted workers, right? That's the best way to hire people, through networking. Forget about recruiters and something like that. My advice. I use them. It's not worth the money that they cost you. How identify those true leaders in your space? Well, if you don't know them yet, don't come to the Silicon Valley. Yes. There's a rule here. I call it the 10,000 rule. What is the 10,000 rule? The 10,000 rule, it's really nice. It's what anybody will charge you to give you advice. And it's plenty of people say, no, how do you say that?
Right.
Well, my rate, yeah, my monthly rate is 10,000 bucks for, well, give you some advice by phone or something like that. I asked many people, and all of them, it seems to be a standard. It's 10,000. Well, you can avoid that. At the first shot, my advice is forget about that. Don't pay anyone anything. Engage them with some stock. You will get them much more loyal having stock than having a payroll or any kind of retainer. They call it retainer, which if I translate that into Spanish, literally, means nothing. But they call it, yeah, retainer means in Spanish something like something that I get from you because I don't trust you. This is exactly the translation, right? So, but okay, forget it. 10,000 bucks. Forget about that. My advice here is try to engage them with some stock, with some participation on the company, tiny, 0.5%, 1%, 2%, it depends on you, this is up to you. And then you will get them engaged, they will share happily with you their network of contacts, right, their friends, and you will be able to start building up your siliconized company. That's my advice to how to start building up your company, right? Okay, there's many other things, but questions, fears. Oh, here. How many of you are willing to move right now, soon? Why? Why are you willing to move so fast?
Why?
Why? What's your aim to come here?
Become wealthy.
No, it's fine.
The reason is that the situation in Europe is very slow. Everything in the market is very slow. Sales cycles are very slow. It takes a very long time to deal with customers, and it's just nervy, to put it mildly.
Yeah. Nada. In here they say nada de nada.
No. And
The American way of saying something in Spanish.
I have the feeling that things can be different here.
Okay.
Or how the market thinks, how people...
I should say that's not enough.
Yeah.
You know what? That's not enough. Okay, things are slow in Europe. Okay, get used to it. It will last for many years.
I don't want to. I don't want to.
Now, what I mean is, you may fail faster here. That's my point.
But then I learn faster. So I don't think this is a one-shot event. I mean, you fail to succeed earlier. The faster I fail, the faster I learn, the next one will be better.
Well, maybe. I don't know. My fear here is, what I'm learning here is something that I cannot apply in Europe. So I'm really concerned about that. What I'm learning here, it's not applicable in Europe.
How so?
Because the mindset, the way you manage people here in the US is totally different than in Europe. People work in the same way, period. That's why, how many top American guys are leading big companies in Europe? Just a few. And I know some that came from Europe to lead some people in the US. But the opposite, you know, so my learning here, it's not really applicable in Europe. Go ahead.
Just to make sure, your companies in Europe, they are operating in Spain or in whole Europe?
Actually, in whole Europe and in Asia Pacific.
So, the overall experience, do you think that it's better to operate in Europe or here in the US? If you are like...
Okay, let me answer you with a question. How many languages do you have to have your own product to be Europe compliant? How many people do you have to have in Europe to be able to sell something in each country? Do you really think that Germans, Portuguese, French, Brits, Italians will buy anything from Spaniard? Do you really believe so? No, not actually. You may be lucky, right? But you cannot build up your sales in Europe without a guy, at least a guy, in each country. Obviously, same. You cannot expect a German sell anything in Spain, period. Why? Because they used to speak Spanish, not German. That seems to be a silly thing, but it's the truth. You need to have local people in each country. Okay, how many people you need in Europe to reach the same amount of customers in US? Well, that's the reason. So one of the reasons that we moved in here is we said something like what you said. We need to move faster. We were in Asia Pacific, we were in Europe, we were opening in Latin America. Said, hey, US is our market. I'm a lot of... It seems that I'm giving here advice, but actually I'm the most dumb guy in this room, because I'm saying do exactly the opposite I did. I started in Asia Pacific, in Europe, in Latin America, and then finally in US. I'm saying, hey, forget it. Start in US. Start in Europe is really expensive. First of all, it's 40% more expensive, the currency. Consider that, right? That's important.
But how about hiring people in the Silicon Valley is not very inexpensive?
Well, my take is, let me tell you something. If you are trying to hire engineers here, you're crazy, man. Period. Forget it. You cannot afford, simply, you cannot afford paying engineers here. If you can afford that, that guy is not your guy, it's a bad guy, because nobody wants him, right? They are really expensive. Google, Facebook, those big companies that are growing that fast are the actual targets that they are looking after. So they are not willing to work for you. So you have to pay a lot to have them. The problem is they have a loyalty that their loyalty from 0 to 10, it's about 1. And I mean kind. I'm kind. I've been here 2 years, so I've been kind. Their loyalty is nil, it's almost 0. Why? Because they don't care about your company at all. Why? Why they should care about your company? They will only care about your company if you are growing 10 digits at least, right? So you are growing, I don't know, 100% per year or something like that, and they say, hey, my stock options may worth something in a couple or 3 years. And maybe at Google, it's running flat right now. When you are hiring someone here, you are talking about the stock exchange. Because the first thing that they ask is not just the base salary. Well, how much in stock options? They're much more interested in that. Because they know that they can make big bucks with stock options. So actually, how many of you have dealt with someone that has stock options in their job offer? In Europe. It's quite unusual. Why? Because here it's the rule. Everybody has something. It's really hard. If someone is willing to work for you without the stock options, you have a problem. That's not your guy. Go ahead.
At what point, I mean, Google doesn't still give stock options, I don't know.
Sorry?
At some point you must stop giving options to...
Absolutely. Well, that's when I asked that to my lawyers, they said, oh, Roger, this is really personal. It is not. There are some rules in here. As less as you can. That's the rule. As less as you can. The problem is, the more you grow, the higher is the level of the guy that you are hiring, the higher is the price they have to pay. And all of them want some stock options. So you have to stop. Well, I can tell you what we've done. We said, hey, 10% of our stock, and this is, they said usually it has to be 15% at least, right, is dedicated to employees. 15, sorry, 15, 1-5. They usually said that this is a reasonable number for a startup, right, with some VCs behind and blah, blah, blah. Much more than that, VCs will not like it. Less than that, it's tough to manage because you are giving away just too little.
So sharing information with us, how is your company now so far? What do you have? I mean, it's, how, just that we sold, I mean, it's a very, a picture of 19% will be for the entrepreneurs, and the rest will be VC, 50%, 20% for the stock option for the employees, and probably 19% for the, no, I don't remember, for the angel capital. How's your situation, your current situation?
Well, as I said, I have a VC, but I have a European VC. So my situation is quite standard. I invested in my own company. I have a VC, so my VC has around 30%, right? And 50%, actually my company's 10% is dedicated to not only the company, not only the employees, but the board. Some advisories, as I said, that I hire, pay them using stock options. That's my situation here. I think it works. I could spend more money on more stock options on the employee side, but we are not that big to need that. So in the future, we may consider to increase that 10 to 15% just to feed.
That you are going to take from your stocks?
From everybody's stock. From everybody's, not only mine. This is something that you have to do in accordance with your VC, of course.
Why did you take a European VC?
Sorry?
Why did you take a European VC?
Why?
Didn't you mention you have a European venture capitalist?
Yes.
Why did you pick a European and not a US?
No, actually they picked me. Let me explain. How many of you... Sorry?
Was that before coming here?
Yes. How many of you are from Europe? All of you? Okay, great. Europe is a nice place to be, right? We don't have the ecosystem of venture capitalism that we have here, but in Europe we have governments, right? Really huge governments with huge debts, but they... Yeah, but the good news is some of that debt, a piece of that debt, it's coming along, it's coming to us, right? How many of you have some funds from public funds, from only this? Okay, you guys.
But we're from South America.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Well, but you have some as well. But you have some. So, where do you come from?
Chile.
Chile. Oh, I have a company in Chile. So, I never got funds from Chile. So why I choose come? Well, the reason is because I came from Europe. In Europe, in order to get some funds, you need to prove your finance ability, you know, your performance. So the best and easiest way to get credibility is to have a VC in your board. This is what I did. Because it's crazy. Without the VC, I wasn't able to get those public funds. Once I've got the VC, coming money for free. Crazy. The problem is our VCs in Europe invest that much, right? So it's funny because I'm struggling every single day in my life with my VC just because one reason. They think that with 500,000 euros, right, you can make the new Google. And the other day I was in a meeting in Barcelona, and a speaker, a European speaker, Brit guy, said something that astonished me. He said something really interesting. He said, "Hey, you guys, you are so lucky now because you have some public funds enough to create the new Google, the new Salesforce, the new blah blah blah." And I raised my hand. I said, "Hey, come on, guy. How much raised Salesforce before was profitable? Do you know that figure? How much Salesforce raised before they were successful? $60 million. Period. Well, we are trying to find to those guys with our 500,000. They say it's in euros, which is 40% more. Okay, great. Yeah, I know the math, and it's about $750,000. So what? How that compares to 60 million? And well, they still think you are not doing enough. You are not doing enough marketing. How come, right? This is what happens in Europe, that they think that, you know the joke about the man and, you know, what is it about the same? They say 500,000 euros should be enough to create the new Google. Well, I certainly doubt that. Don't trust that. That's bullshit. That's not true. You need big money. That's why probably you are coming here, because you are not able to raise big money in Europe. There's big investments in Europe, yes, for sure, but they are not common ones. I'm dealing with companies, I'm fighting with companies that have raised 30 to 50 million. They have half of my product, right? Half, and they are selling exactly the same amount. But they've raised from 34 to 50 million dollars. Well, in Europe we have something good. We are really efficient spending money. Really, really efficient. Why? I said, forget about hiring people here in the US for engineers. Forget it. My advice is keep the R&D wherever it is. Period. If it's in Europe, the best. Why? Because they are cheap, they are loyal, and you get some public funds. Because you have them. Yeah, if you don't have them, you don't get public funds. So, ergo, leave R&D where it is. Right? That's another piece of advice. Okay, I don't know. Yeah. How many of you pretend to move with the family? Okay. You sure?
I don't think there's another way.
No, I did. I have 2 kids and I moved with my family. It's tough. It's tough. They remember you every single day how far from home they are, right? Okay. We are loving it. My kids, well, just to let you know, my kids came here with 6 and 8. Now they are 5 and 8, and they are now 7 and 10. Well, when they play together, they play in English. So they are really, really American ladies already. So there's no problem with the kids. The problem is your wife. or your husband. But that's no. I'm not kidding. She or he will not be ready to work here, and that's a huge problem because she's at home looking at it. Okay. And you are late because you are in a startup, right? So you work all day long. So she's at home, and she let you know what she thinks about your entrepreneurship and all that. So get ready, because yeah, it's long days. And you know what? In here, there's another piece of advice. If you have kids, you have kids. Okay, public school. Pick a nice neighborhood, that's key, and then public school. It's really wonderful, we are loving it. And it's crazy. Capitalism, right? Public schools. I came from Spain. You know what? In Spain, I took my kids at the private school. And we are socialists, right? In Spain. So it's like the world, you know, downside. So it's just crazy. But the visa, I was going to talk about the visa. It's really painful, the visa stuff, right? So if you think to come along with your family, blah, 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 get ready to have a good lawyer to get your visa ready, right? In time and blah, blah, blah. It took me 3 months to gather all the information to be able to process the visa. Sorry?
How did you get your visa?
Easy to explain, right? A long story short is I hired a good lawyer. Plug and Play can recommend you plenty of good lawyers. A good lawyer to process my visa. So the only thing that they do is they ask you questions. They ask you for papers. Now I need this paper, now I need this, and this is every single day during 3 months. If the lawyer is good, once they feel that file is good enough, they file it, and in 15 or 3 weeks, 15 days or 3 weeks, you get your visa. Right?
You mean an entrepreneurial visa?
Well, I think, I'm not certain, I don't know if anybody knows the exact number, but I think it's about 200 different kinds of visa. Only for that you need a lawyer to be sure which one is the one that fits for you. There are 3 more usual visas, right? The H-1B, which is not that good because your wife cannot work, because you have tough time to get the green card, if it's a goal. The green card is the permit to work here indefinitely, with no more visas required, right? Okay, if that's a goal, H-1B is not the best one. You can apply for a green card, but it takes longer. The second one, which is quite usual to find, is the E5 or E2, E5? No, E2, right? The E2. The E2 is the visa for investors and entrepreneurs that invest their own money, careful, their own money into the company that they are creating here. But you have to create a company here.
Cannot be the money of the company.
Sorry?
Cannot be the money of the company.
Yeah, you can have a trick. You can make a trick. It's just paperwork. The lawyer will let you know. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, I have a friend actually that from Spain that did it that way. So they got sorry.
Create a corporation.
You must.
And after, but you apply for your visa with the, I mean, if you have done first, I mean, your corporation, or you apply first and after that
well,
you do your
that's the third most common. I'm answering you with the third most common visa is the L visa, right?
Oh.
The L is the relocation. I don't know that the L, what the L is intended for, but the L, I translate that for relocation, right? So it's something that implies that you were working in your own company and the company is sending you abroad, right? So that's the one that I choose for 2 main reasons. First of all, because at that time, we couldn't apply for the E2 visa because we already had spent the money, so we did a mistake there. And then second reason is because the path to the green card is the shortest.
For the L.
With the L. So that's the main reason, actually. Right? And there's another one. Yeah, well, there are many different tiny...
But you have to stay here longer than if you came back, I mean, you go back to Spain.
No, there's no problem to coming back to Spain. No, the L visa, it's, you have the right to work, but you are not immigrant. It's a crazy. Yeah, these guys are nice. When you come by to the immigration border, right, they say non-immigrants. Immigrants and US citizens, right? Well, you are a non-immigrant, which means nothing. You are non-immigrant, so you are not an immigrant, but you are not a citizen, so you are nothing. You are in the middle of nowhere. That's the feeling, because what are you doing here? Just working. But you are immigrant? No, I'm not. You are a citizen? No, I'm not. So, this is, go ahead.
Yeah, but in the case of L, I'm not really sure, but you must be an employee, not the owner of the company?
It's not necessary. If you are the owner, it's clear that you are necessary to lead the company. So the explanations are easier. I'm the CEO. I decided to open up the office in US. Who's the best guy to open up the office in US? Well, my company, so myself, have decided that I'm the guy. Easy. But if you have some guy that you need to move to US, you have to explain why that guy and no an American, which is obvious. That's fine. We do the same in Spain. We are really strict with why you are moving people in. More questions?
How much did it cost you? I mean, if you pass all the costs that we have to, to create a company here or whatever, it's a lot of money.
Okay, let me tell you something. Living here is really expensive. You go to buy Levi's jeans, oh, it's really cheap, right? In Europe, it's twice the price, and in euros. You go to buy a car and you say, hey, it's cheap to buy a car. The cars are quite cheap here. The problem is you don't have credit report. Do you know what is a credit report?
What?
Credit report.
Credit report, yeah.
Yeah, well, I've been here for 2 years. I don't have yet a credit report.
Okay.
This is something tough to get. And what
is a credit report?
Sorry?
What
is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Financial history.
A credit report is a crazy thing. It's they call it the chicken and egg problem, right? Because in order to get credit report, you have to owe something and demonstrate the record of giving that money back, right? Well, but until you don't have credit report, nobody will lend you money. So how come can I demonstrate credit report if nobody lend me money so I can start returning that money? You know what I mean? So it's tough to get credit report because after 1 or 2 years they allow you to have a visa. If you go to Bank of America, they don't allow you to have a visa. You have to pay with debit cards because you don't have credit report, so they don't trust that you will be returning the debt. Even if you have the money in your bank, they don't. I said, hey, I put some money here so you see. No, because you can take that money off. So you don't have credit report. So first of all, you have to buy your own car, cash. They are cheap, but you have to pay for the whole thing. Go ahead.
Oh, no, that's just what I was going to say. I used to work for a bank, and so like to help the
ahead.
non-U.S. citizens, they have, I mean, it kind of sucks still, but you should get like a secured credit card where basically you have to give them $100, then they'll give you a credit card for $100. So it's not like they're actually giving you credit, but then they'll take away the secured part and just make it a regular credit card after like a year. And then you can build credit. But I mean, it still sucks, but at least it's a way that you can get credit.
And this is for a credit card. Imagine to have enough to buy a house. Forget it. So how much? It depends your lifestyle. If you want to live the same life you had in Chile, you have to spend big bucks here. Because, for example, my house is a nice house. The dream of anybody, because it's you know, what you see in the movies. But they are expensive. And you have to pay, because you don't have credit report. So you better rent, or you go with the suitcase with plenty of...
But I mean, this is good information that you are providing too, but I meant, what's the cost of having that visa?
No, the visa, it's depending, okay, I had offers of $2,000 to get the visa done from lawyers, and my lawyer cost me $15,000.
15,000.
Yeah, but I took the safe path. So I went to one of the best lawyers here in the valley, and I said, hey,
Quite a lot of money.
yeah, it's a lot of money. You have to be careful. So one of the learned lessons here is they love money, and that's a good thing because you can. They can tell you, hey, our rule is we don't close the deal, so we don't do turnkey projects. Lawyers, right? They can be, pushing, make them offers, and they will react. Even more, you can pay them using stock options. If they trust you, if they like you, they love to be. No kidding. That's a good piece of advice, because the best advice that you can get at the very beginning, it's legal advice. You have to build up your own Delaware company. You have to build your visa. You have to do many things, many legal things. You have to put in place your stock option plan. You have to put in place your paperwork, your new contracts, the agreements, EULAs, all that crap. You need a lawyer. Well, it's a good piece of advice to have somebody which is in your board, which is in your company. They have some interest. Consider it. It's a good thing to do.
You mentioned 15K that you spent for the visa.
Yeah.
Is that the whole process until you
Yeah,
get
the whole
green-
process. Yeah, the whole
green
process.
card?
Yeah, it starts slowly. No, this is $4,000, then the taxes, then the renewal, then the 15,000. And it's painful because the first time they usually give you 1 year, depending on the kind of the visa. Maybe 3 years if you're lucky. It depends. There's no rule, so it's just the way they smell you, then they give you one thing or another. It's just a little bit. It depends. For example, another crazy thing. I had to get the driver license here, right? My wife got 1 year license permit to drive here. I got 3. We did the exam at the same place, at the same day, same score. She got 1, I got 3. Just mysteries of BFE, yeah. Okay, more questions?
Mayor?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, from your experience, where have the best engineers come from? What country?
Good point. It's tough because I don't have that experience. I've known German, French, Spanish, Portuguese, Argentinian, and Mexican, right? I tend to say the Spaniards. I tend to say so. Why? You know what? So Spaniards are in between the Latin culture and the European culture. So we are not that strict that a German can be, and we are not though lazy, than a Latin can be. So we are just in the middle. No, to be honest, sorry, I have companies in Argentina and in Chile, and I know what I'm talking about. I can compare. So probably, for example, in Chile, not because you are here. In Chile, there's plenty of good. Probably it's the most serious country in Latin America. Probably responsible, loyal. It's what we call the Europe in Latin America. This is the way we call it. Argentina? There's any Argentinian here? Just a joke. Questions? More questions? Well, overall, I'm really happy to be here. So don't get me wrong. I'm just maybe making some jokes, but sometimes people in Spain, many people ask me, when it's the right time to go? Yesterday, right? The problem is, before you are ready to go yesterday, you better hurry up and do your homework, right? So it's better to have a few customers here before you come in. It's better to create, to have maybe a couple, 3 travels here before you definitely move in yourself, right? This is what I did, and it worked quite well. So I came several times, I took a look, etc. Then I moved here to the plug and play, and then I moved my family. So I did step by step. I think it's the right thing to do. Everything at once, it's overwhelming. So my advice is, come by, spend a couple of months by yourself here, take, position of everything, where are things, start creating your networks, and then start to landing into the US. But it's a very nice thing to do.
In your opinion, what is the best way to use the facilities of plug and play?
It's quite easy. Actually, I really hate the name, plug and play, but I love the concept. This is exactly what happened. So I arrived one Wednesday, I think. I believe that was one Wednesday. On Thursday, I was meeting with a VC, with Intel Venture Capital. So it's that fast. And I had already my telephone, my number, my internet line, my space. It was plug and play. That's the concept, and it works. So what's the best place to use the facilities? Just use it. It's really easy. You go, ask Jackie or whomever you are in touch, or Juke or whomever, and they say, hey, this is your place, this is your landline, this is your internet line, and that's it.
No, I mean more regarding expanding your network, trying to...
Well, first of all, plenty of network events. Use them, attend them, right? Even if it's a silly pizza on Friday, whatever, okay, attend them. Yeah, because you, as I said, it's really nice to have, and share experiences with people. Some people like me that have been 2 years now, but people that has been 10 years now, right? So they can give you better advice than me. Then events, expos. They have the meetings, the big meetings with the VCs that they can come along, and they you pitch in front of many people, 500 people, and then you train your pitch. In early stage companies, that's fine. That's the best thing to start doing. But there's something more. If you really think that you have to talk to someone, do not hesitate. Ask them, hey, I need, ask Alireja, ask Zarko, ask anybody here, and they will point you out. They will introduce you whomever you need, for sure. No, that's for sure. But there's only one piece of advice. You have one shot. They are really nice. They will always... So, let me just... 1 minute. When I came, I have an agreement with Oracle, right? I have signed an agreement with Oracle, and that was possible because I was here. When I was here, few days later to be here, I was able to talk to the number 2 in Oracle. Networking, right? No direct connection, but networking point me with that guy. And he said, okay, I'll check what you said. And he replied me by email saying, hey, I'm not interested. Thank you. I was really disappointed. 3 months later, I got the right guy, and I got the agreement. So the piece of advice, first of all, try it, but be ready. When I first talked with that guy, I was not ready. I lost my 5 minutes, in prime time. So you can talk to anybody here, but you better have something to say. In Spain, it's just impossible. In Spain, you may have the best and most compelling argument with Telefónica, Santander, or the biggest company in Spain. They don't care. If you don't know them, you are not able to talk to them. Period. In here, you can. They don't care. Right? Actually, I think that they know that maybe someday you'll be their boss. So, who knows? Yeah, that's the truth. They never burn bridges. Never. Which is a nice thing to do. Okay.
Awesome. which one of you have transportation issues? As in, don't have a ride there. So if you need a ride there, let me know, because I know there's a couple of us that are driving there and can take some of you there. And then also, some have offered to have extra space in their car too. So just a raise of hands, I guess, how many people we have to get to the VC.
Who doesn't have a car?
How far is it? It's in Menlo Park, about what, 30 minutes?
20 minutes.
20 minutes by car.
Yes, by car. Yes. Okay, fine.
So we don't have to be there until 4 p.m. though, so we still have about 15-20 minutes before we have to leave. So at least get organized. If you guys want to drop off your stuff in your office space.
What is the address of this? Maybe
it's
Alright, so yeah, once we leave here, make sure you guys take all of your stuff because we won't be coming back here. We'll meet at the VC, have like an intro at the firm, and then we'll go for drinks at Rosewood, which is down the street. Okay? So take everything, make sure you don't forget to go home.